I will have to tell you the story of what it felt like to be eaten by a shark some other time. There were strange visions that made me question a lot about what I thought I knew or did not know. Needless to say, I awoke still strapped into the gurney, drenched in suspiciously salty sweat. Simon had been calling to me. The sparks cascaded down from above.
Neto! I did it! I'm disconnected more or less, I think. I don't know why, yo, but I don't think I have anything to save your antenna. I need more time, I think. But my headache is gone. I feel like I can think.
I motioned soundlessly to Simon towards Harry, whose convulsions were slower but more violent now. His heartbeat was irregular and the machines were running wildly. He looked possessed, his body being pulled by the moon like a tractor beam. The vibrations were also a struggle to me. Every time I tried to concentrate what to do, a wave of sleepiness started to overtake me. But I needed to stay awake.
Stop resisting, Harry! Neto told me to tell you, you have to give in!
Simon yelled. It was no use. Harry was somewhere else, lost in a secret struggle we could only imagine. The old man at the center of the room was not gaining anything from this. This was all a sham. This whole thing was for something, someone else, for him. I looked up at the observation deck. The tall woman looked down at me. We were lost. I had not painted what I thought I'd painted. Again, my art had failed me. Until I heard the first crow, then the second, then the cacophony. They covered almost the entire moon with their wings, and with its radiance obstructed, I could feel the antenna's effect lessen. But still, the technology was bringing Harry ever closer to a disastrous climax. His body looked like it was being torn apart from the inside. Then they appeared, descending from the firmament. My bunny, in my bunny backpack, being carried down by two large crows just like I had painted it. She floated down and landed in my lap. The crows quickly undid my mouthguard and I spat it out as they then went to free Simon. Bunny undid one of my straps and then looked up at me apprehensively, awaiting my word as I undid the rest. Bunny, I don't have time to explain, but I know it's you. I dare not say your name, but if I'm right, you need to speak to him. You need to reach him. Tell him not to resist. Tell him just to give up and it will be okay. Stop the fight and his power will be his own. Bunny jumped off my lap and scurried across, past the old dying man, up onto Harry's lap. Simon, now free, came and helped to release me. We could see the guards moving up above. We would have company soon. We held Harry down as he convulsed. Bunny stayed remarkably still on his lap, concentrating, focusing on him like she had tried to do with me at my apartment in Woonsocket. But I was not a receiver. Harry was. Harry was for one person. Agatha. I like to think I could hear her voice as Harry's body began to slow its convulsing.
Harry. Barnabas. Love, it's me. I've been away, but I'm back. You're fighting so hard, but you don't need to. We're all here. We'll help you through it. It'll be different this time. I know it.
Harry was still. His heartbeat was irregular, but soon it slowed, it steadied. He was unconscious, but breathing, looking a shell of himself, frail and defeated, but still thankfully alive. We turned as the guards pointed their guns and approached. Simon made his way headfirst towards them in a charge. They told him to stop. They fired. He took a bullet to his stomach and for a second collapsed. But then he let out a scream and we were suddenly showered by neon sparks. The roof started to collapse and somehow Simon ushered us out the side door with his access badge still miraculously on his person. We holstered Harry on each shoulder, and Bunny nestled on Harry's neck. From the corner of my eye, I saw the crows carry my bunny bag out the opening of the atrium. Outside in the yard, we looked up and could see the crows dispersing in every direction as electricity continued to fly into the heavens. We laid Harry down on the grass below a tall tree. Bunny surveyed his breathing. We were out of breath, out of thoughts, out of feelings after it all. Finally, Bunny scampered off of Harry and over to Simon and his bare ankle. Simon screamed. Ah! Bunny had bitten into him.
Damn it! Your rabbit has fangs!
I picked Bunny up. Indeed she does, it would seem. Just be glad she is just a bunny, Mr. Simon. Just then, Simon realized.
My grandma. They have her. I need to find her. I need to make things right.
You do not have to, Simon. I'm sure she is safe, and that woman, that vampire, she is more dangerous than you know, and you've been shot. You need help.
Oh, I know. I feel it, but I have unfinished business. Tell Harry when he wakes that I'm sorry.
He turned in a rush, then turned back and threw me his keys.
There's enough gas to get into town. There's cash in the rear compartment, too. Goodbye. Thank you for...
Our eyes met. His glowed a slight tinge of neon pink. This time I could see he was much more dangerous as a vampire than as a human. Perhaps there was no need to worry. Also, there was no choice. I wasn't strong enough to carry Harry out further, but the compound seemed a little distracted to care to look for us. A few moments passed and we heard more explosions. We watched as something erupted into the heavens. Then we could hear something structural collapse. Finally, a helicopter rose above and over us, dispersing another cloud of confused crows. I hope they were okay. Was Balkus or Leona here? I asked Bunny. I could not begin to reconcile if I was right or not, but clearly, she was among us. She smiled at me. Harry moaned.
Oh.
Harry, can you hear me? Are you all right?
Christ. Is my back broken? Where am I? What happened?
There will be plenty of time for that. Go easy. Bunny hopped on Harry's chest again.
Oh. Neto, what is this? Agatha. Your sister. She spoke to me. Saved me somehow. Is this Bunny Blue, or am I seeing things?
Bunny looked at me as if to say, "Don't tell him, please." Well, lots to explain, I'm sure. I'd like to hear your side of things as well, maybe, when you've rested, but for now, it would be good if you could walk, Harry, at least for a little. It took all my strength to help Harry haltingly out into the forest and to find the Vespa. Bunny seemed to have a sense of where it was and led us to it. On it were a couple of crows with my bunny bag. They cawed excitedly at Bunny, and Bunny kipped joyfully a few times in response. I looked in the rear compartment and found Simon's pair of paint-splattered pants and his Rizdy t-shirt, too small for Harry, but I quickly changed into the shirt as I was, for the first time in a long time, sticky with sweat. I did not fear riding that Vespa, with Harry's barely conscious form holding me from behind. Bunny nestled on his neck inside his robe and sought to keep him awake with a few gentle bites from the sounds of it.
Yes, I'm awake.
I'd hear Harry say as he held my waist a little tighter. Ahead of us and above, I saw the crows keeping watch as we made our way through the dark countryside. If we were being followed, they would alert us. When we stopped at the gas station, an attendant may have seen the oddest sight of his life. It must have looked like Timothée Chalamet in a Rizdy t-shirt was helping a large pirate-looking man in a pink hospital gown off a Vespa. But the strangest was that he had a blue bunny on his shoulder. We stared at each other as we stumbled in to pay for our gas. The man's expression was inviting me to say something. "It's for an art project." I pumped gas as I watched Harry decimate the gas station's sushi selection, which I would have advised against if I could have. Harry threw the wad of cash into the air again like some kind of pirate, and the attendant frantically went to collect it. Gas station sushi for the price of Nobu. Oh well. Bunny came outside with some kind of roll and carried it over me to eat it. I suppose she had had a long journey, we all had. Finally, after Harry guzzled a carton of milk, he anxiously grabbed the key to the bathroom and stumbled outside to it. What could you do? Agatha, Bunny looked startled by the sounds that came from inside it. I went to make sure that we had compensated the attendant enough. He looked in shock but gave me what he thought was the change. I gave it back to him as a tip and paid for the gas as well. I saw an oversized black Vermont t-shirt and purchased it for Harry. Established 1791. Where was I then? I won't play this game again now. Harry smelled wretchedly, but fortunately was awake as we kept riding. Bunny lay in the compartment with it wedged open for air. My fear of motorized vehicles was returning, but I wasn't about to ask Harry to drive. At the bend, we slowed down a bit. The air was more still. The crows landed on a tree ahead. "All right," I said to Harry.
All right.
Said Harry. His voice felt stronger.
Turned out to be a good gift then.
"What's that?" "Oh, you mean the Bunny, yes. I am grateful, Harry. Thank you."
Didn't know you had that power exactly. I have some paintings you could try it on if you like.
"Yes, well, I don't think it's that easy. I think it just happened. We'll have to speak on it sometime." Harry grew silent.
Yes. Sorry, throat's a bit sore, but thanks. Again.
"Don't mention it." 1791, I believe, was a good year. I remember a celebration. Everyone was there in Paris. We gathered on the rooftops to watch some makeshift fireworks erupt. But what do I really remember? That is the point. He had interfered with our memories and more. I could barely speak his name. Somehow even thinking it made me feel like I would veer off the side of the road. It was not Balkis who had betrayed us, nor was it Leona. It was not Gree, but it was an associate of his. Why am I unable to even conjure his name? I see him there on the edge of the roof, looking dismayed somehow, looking jealous of Agatha, of Harry, but somehow not as much of me. He liked me, or did he convince me that I liked him? His name was not Drake, but it was something close. I suddenly realized something when we arrived at a fork in the road. "Harry, I've been driving, but I do not know where we are going. My place is not so good."
Yes, come to think of it, I was enjoying the drive and hadn't thought of it either. Funny that. Well, where to pick? Boston's out of the question, so is Providence. New York might be too obvious. If you're up for the drive, how about the city of brotherly love? Although perhaps we can take a train at some point. Your driving is atrocious.
"So is your breath, Harry," I said softly to myself.
What?
"Sounds good, Harry. Philadelphia was good to me once. Let's go there." The crows came down and rode our draft, and occasionally one would land on Harry's shoulder or mine, and I thought I smelled the faint aroma of blue cheese, though perhaps that was just Harry's stench progressing. The sun's faint rays glimmered over an oncoming valley, and we stopped by the side of the road. Harry threw up again, and Bunny came out of the back to check on him. The crows and I took some distance, which made me certain these were no ordinary crows. One of them perched on my shoulder. "Yes," I said, "we're not to tell. She's in charge again. What do you think? Is that a good thing? Is that good for her?" We watched as Bunny looked up at Harry, hunched over, then sitting on his bare ass in the grass by the side of the road. This scene was more than ridiculous. Harry pet the bunny's head and smiled at it, oblivious. Then all at once we turned to look at the sun cresting over the hills, collectively on what should be at last a new day. I could faintly hear the voices. They seemed to say they were listening now, to me for a change. What did I want to say? Bunny hopped from Harry and came by me. She looked up to me and I looked down at her. Yes, the fight isn't over, I'm afraid. The fight will not be for our lives or for a place or thing. The fight will be for something greater. The fight will be for the reality we do or do not share. That is where dreams come in, I think, where art needs to prevail. That is the bridge we must cross together. What do you think? Bunny, or Agatha, I should say, did not say anything, but she leaned her body against me and looked back out at the sunrise. It looked like a dream, or a painting, or maybe just like the world we lived in.